story of how Mark and Emily met would be appropriate for tonight. Emily might not approve, but I have the mic, so sorry. For those of you who don't know Emily that well, and more importantly, those of you who do, Emily is a little bit, we'll call it organized. And I'm talking one time, I watched the girl rewrite her weekly planner into a monthly planner, not because she liked the monthly one better, but because she wanted to have both. Mark also knew this about Emily, but for a lot longer than I have. One day in high school study hall, he took Emily's planner and wrote in permanent capital letters the word F-U, well, you get the picture. Emily obviously went to tell the teacher and proceeded to get a library pass for all of her future study halls to get away from the boy who ruined her life. I mean, her planner. Mark claims that even though he admits to doing this, he was thoughtful enough to open it to a page on the weekend where she clearly didn't have any plans anyway. Regardless of after this first encounter, who would have thought that we would be standing here today? If I had a little more time, and if I wasn't so scarred by it myself, I would tell you the story about how Emily and I met, but let's just say I wasn't as nice to her as Mark was. But despite these two horrible first impressions, Emily is now sitting in this room with her maid of honor and her husband. Bet you like the sound of that. This is because Emily has the biggest and best heart of anyone I know. I've been there to see her care and nurture for all the people in her life. When Emily and I got past our first initial encounter and actually became friends, one of my other friends asked me about her. And I said, Emily is the best person I have ever met. And I still stick by that statement today. So I guess this is a part of the speech where I'm supposed to tell Mark that if he hurts my best friend, I'll kill him. But those threats aren't even necessary. If there's one thing that I know, it's that these two people will do exactly what they promised in front of all of us and God earlier today, to love and honor each other. Now, will everyone raise their glasses? To the best people and the best friends I'll ever know.
All right, hi everyone. My name's Paul Cho. First of all, I personally want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Wright and Mrs. Lane for putting this on. I don't know where you guys all are, up there and there. And raising two children into two fine young adults. And so, good job there. All right, so this is the first time I've been in this position to give a speech like this, so I go online and read some examples and how to, right? You would do the same, right? So, I noticed across the board the most important element of this speech is to keep it short. That's the most important. So I will try to do that. And also, you read the examples and it goes something like, I met so-and-so when I was 2. We grew up in the same daycare, played football together. I remember when we were like 15, this happened. But the reality is I met Mark 2 years ago in the PA school. And it's more like 1 year, because the second year of our schooling we go to different rotation sites. We don't see each other. You know what I mean? So that goes to kind of show it's not necessarily the quantity of time you spend with someone, but more of the quality that determines the depth of friendship and relationship. And so we spent the year together, our classmates. We spend about 8 to 10 hours a day in class. After class, we hang out some more. Weekends, we hang out some more, and you quickly learn who you gravitate towards, who you keep your distance from, and who you click with. And Mark was someone I clicked with very easily for many reasons. But just when I think of Mark, what I think of just instinctively is he has integrity, just unwavering, uncompromising integrity that you don't see very much nowadays. And also, he's generally, not generally, Any more notes? Genuinely compassionate. There we go. Not generally, but genuinely compassionate. And I've seen this in the past 2 years, experienced it. I went through a relationship as well, had some struggles. It was always, he had a very keen eye for seeing when something wasn't right. He'd sit me down and say, what's going on? Let's talk about it, let's pray about it, let's figure this thing out. And I really respect that. Guys don't do that stuff, you know what I mean? So when I saw that in him, it was a very admirable. Also academically, was not the brightest student. He was seriously the brightest student. So he would take time out, make sure I understood something. If I didn't, he would sit down from his study time, take time out, sit down with me, make sure I understood other students too. And in this world nowadays where everyone tries to get ahead by themselves and, you know, who cares about you, it's nice and refreshing to see someone like that. So, genuine compassion, uncompromising integrity is what I think of when I think of Mark. So Emily, it was a good choice. I met Emily on his 21st birthday. We kind of talked and got to know each other. She said her father speaks fluent Japanese. She was born in Japan and exposed to Asian culture probably more than I was, to where we sat down and had a serious discussion and decided that you are probably more Asian than I am. I grew up in Dallas, Texas.
Eat seaweed for breakfast?
What's that?
Seaweed for breakfast?
Seaweed. I didn't even do that. But I've seen these two in the past 2 years. It's not a long time, but from what I've seen, struggle together, grow together, and just wrestle with problems and get through those, and to the point where now they're married. So my prayer, my wish for you guys is not that you would have just a successful wedding, but a successful marriage after you leave this facility. So when you're 70, 80, 90, young couples look and say, this is what I want. You know, this is how I want it to be. So that's my prayer for you guys, and also for you, Mark. We've had a lot of talk, and I'm sure you've been told about this several times in counseling, but to love Emily like Christ loved the church, and that he gave his life for her, and that you would be willing to go to that extent to protect this. Okay. Is that deal?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
All right. You guys sign. Okay. Thanks for coming out, and Mr. and Mrs. Layton.
Just think if we keep our hearts together, I just think if we build on this trust that we have for one another, maybe we can make